Good day, everyone. My name is Anu Adefiwe, and I'm the creative director for Saints of June and for Saints of June Fragrance Academy. So, for this class, we're talking about before you start that fragrance production. What are the things that you need to know before you go into perfumery, before you go into candle making, before you go into home fragrance, everything that has to do with fragrance productions? What are the things that you need to know so that you don't go into it and become stuck? All this are from personal experience and from a bit of experiences of other people. So I hope you have your notepad ready. So let's start. So there are some things that you need to consider, which I'll be listing them out. There are 7. The first one is, what is fragrance production? The second one is getting the right information about fragrance production. The third one is getting the right coach. The fourth one is in-depth training on fragrance production. The fifth one is knowing how and where to source. The sixth one is right packaging, while the last but not the least is branding. So we're going to take these points one after the other. The first one is, what is fragrance production? Fragrance production involves collecting ingredients, extracting oils, blending of those oils, aging, and quality control. It is almost like fine wine. A lot of work and time go into producing a fragrance. So that is what fragrance production is. How you get your raw materials. Do you buy them direct? Do you buy them? Do you produce them from the scratch? Do you get your dry flowers? Do you get your dry spices, whatever it is you're using? How do you extract your oils from them? Do you buy them? You get. Then the blending. By the time you are done with your production, the blending, how do you keep it for it to age and all of that, for it to cure, the quality control, all this is involved in our fragrance production. So let's go to number 2, which is getting the right information about fragrance production. Many fragrances are made by extracting scented oil from natural ingredients. These ingredients can include various plants, fruits, wood, and even animal secretions like civet or civet, like other people pronounce it. Other resources like alcohol, coal, tars, and petrochemicals can be used during the manufacturing process. You need to understand the type of oil that you want to work with, if it is a natural oil or a synthetic oil, because you need to know the information of everything that goes into your bottle of fragrance. So if it's a natural oil, then maybe they must have used distillation process, cold distillation, cold press to get it. If it is synthetic, it must have been made in the lab. Or if it's a combination of both, because there are some scents that don't occur in nature or do not produce essential oils, but there are synthetic chemicals that can actually be used to create the scent. So those are mostly why some synthetic oils are being created. But now, even oils that can come naturally, they can be also synthetically made. But then if you want something that smells like the rain, there is no way you can get natural oil from the rain, so you're going to create that in the lab. You want something like smells like the sand, there is no natural oil that comes from the sand. So those are things that they make in the laboratory. But then the other natural oils that exist, they can also make them in the laboratory. So that is getting the right information about your production, because you need to know everything about your fragrance. You need to know, is it synthetic, is it natural, is it mixed? So those things are things that you need to know. Then number 3, getting the right coach. This is very, very important. In getting someone to coach you while you start the process of learning how to create fragrances, you need to watch out for the following. What have they created on their own? Do they have the knowledge? This knowledge that they have, is it evident in their creations? You can even ask them for their samples. Do they mentor you even after the course? Is somebody that will just train you and after training just leave you to it? Are they like that? Or they mentor you along so that you also get able to launch your own product? Are they like that? Or they just teach you and that is it? You need to know these things about them. Is it people that will give you the right information that you need? Because there are some coaches that will hold some information from you so that you keep coming back to them. So you need to know the type of coach that you want and the type of person you're dealing with. So that is very, very important. And then number 4, in-depth training on fragrance production. For you to be able to successfully do well in producing fragrances, you need to have in-depth training, because if you want to be self-taught, it's going to take a long time for you to be able to know your mistakes, to be able to get it together. So it's better you go for an in-depth training. Ensure you ask all your questions and pay attention and pay attention even to the tiniest details. Make sure that you take practical seriously, as it is the base of your training. In fragrance production, practical is the base. The theory are just things that you need to know, but the practical is the base. So you need to take it really, really seriously when you are training. Then number 5, knowing how and where to source. Your coach should be able to give you contact of where you can source from. If he or she doesn't, make sure you ask them. You don't want to waste time and effort and money buying bad materials, because by the time you finish your training, then you start buying bad materials, you waste a lot of money. That can even dampen your mood and in a way not encourage you to follow through. So please ask your coach for contact so that you don't go about wasting money, time, effort and everything. So then the 6th one is the right packaging. After your fragrance is ready, you need to see it. You need people to see it and to want it. And that can only be achieved by giving it the right package, which takes us to branding. So branding. In branding, you need to have a brand name, a logo, and this must project what you do in its entirety. Once people see your logo, they should understand what your brand is all about. Also, choose colors that works for your brand. Choose colors that work for your brand. Choose a logo that says what you're doing. So by the time they just see your logo, they already know, oh, this person actually sells something that does with candle, with scents, with oils. Do you understand? So those are the things that you really, really, really need to do. And another thing that you need to know that is very, very important to know is that fragrance production is not cheap. It is not cheap. And the money you're going to use in training is the least money you will ever spend if you are going into fragrance production, especially if you're going into perfumery. That is the least money you will ever spend. So please make sure that you really want to go into. You don't need to have the bulk of the money at once. But with time, you can be getting your materials. And if you have passion for it and it's something you really want to do, the money for it will come. But you need to know that fragrance production, especially perfumery, it doesn't come cheap. But you are going to be glad that you ventured into that business if you really, really do it. Lots of people want to start a business in the fragrance industry and have started, and because of lack of information, they are running at a loss. Which is why this mini course is getting you the information you need to start and restart better, because I know some of us are already into it, but then we need to restart better. I hope you learned a thing or two from this class, and if you have any questions, just direct your questions to saintsofjune@gmail.com and I'll be glad to read from you. Thank you so much. God bless you. Till next time. Bye.